We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that palace.
According to Jacques' family members... If I had...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool.
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial sea.
Do you think he knew, even...
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite... But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? My father... And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. Still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own... Thierry, you say? But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering under wraps.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to prove it with a simple check of the guard's inventory. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find.
Florent? It is true that he was but as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a mecha army?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't... Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through...
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When the suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possess... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things...
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. But we don't have... We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our end.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for...
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another...
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's...
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What?
Yeah.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our...
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you, if the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right, because...
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder than to clear...
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, you're right. This is our best opportunity. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Linny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured it's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered.
Thank you so much.
See you then! Set out for Erinias? We should also get going. The location has already been marked on the Huh. According to Malusa's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. So this is the entrance that leads to the... You're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms. Navia's probably...
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to protect. In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an... I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime...
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to let... Then why don't you duel me too?
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again.
That case had nothing to do with him! Huh? What's going on?
Why is she interjecting?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fat. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is... Well, the head of Confrérie of Cabriere!
Huh? What confrérie?
I've heard of them, but
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your place. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that... Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney.
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a...
Very well. In that case, since both sides...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, only through elucidating what really happened in that...
Navia, do you really think that... Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my... If that's enough to make me a suspect...
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience does...
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about...
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel. These are the known facts about the case.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, in truth, the third person shot Jacques. After that, the true culprit turned the third person. Thank you for this. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of... The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus. However, in the end, he reconsidered, and instead shared... Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility. This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus. A pile of clothes, but now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a... Since... Realizing this, the true culprit...
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the...
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? 1. Do you have the evidence to...
I'm afraid...
Boo! If you don't have any evidence...
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the dessert, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around...
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last...
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you... Then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had...
I thought about this too. And the answer is actually pretty simple. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true... My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth, what was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the...
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine, but what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect... Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence? But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue... I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving... And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot and restore...
So, you mean to say, your father...
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything, but since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand...
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was...
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really...
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but...
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearance?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because the culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find... I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most...
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that... On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what she can say?
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah, well, let Uncle Marcel... Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me...
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come...
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong in—
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their— Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've—
I was waiting for you to say.
Go! Water jet! Go!
Go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Wipe out! Go! Yeah! Water jet! Go! Water jet! Bombs away! Water jet! Go! Water jet! Water jet! Water jet! Water jet! Water jet! Bombs away! Water jet! Wipe out! Water jet!
After all that, we finally... Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here. That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some... Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water! That means this is where they make all the synth! And that special water is the main ingredient! If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth! Paimon will take notes on this... Let's see what's written... Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to... This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. I concur. Let's send someone to... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. They're all just so evil. What's this over here? Looks like some kind... Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob... The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female... Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact... You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why... Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. Ah, you mean Vache is the one who did all of these... So that's it! Vache was no victim, but personally took his... No, that's not it either! If that's the case... In any case, Paimon will write it all down. Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain... Mixing in progress. Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's super obvious. What's all this? Aw, pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things labeled? Huh? You mean the girls from the serial disappearances? And then and all the boxes of things, these names. We've looked at almost everything here, and yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder isn't able to find any that way. Even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to. Sure thing. Paimon. You take that side, and Paimon will take this side. Check everything. Ugh. Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Venier. Isn't that Vache's love? Then you found her diary. Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She was so sweet, too. So many! The final name she decided, Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Venier's grown?